Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Whatever you do, don't get ill. Don't hurt yourself, don't break an arm, don't do anything that needs you to go to hospital. And the reason is that waiting times are already at record levels. And it's not even winter yet. Imagine how bad it's going to get. We're going to take a look at this article that shows that the A&E waiting times are just appalling. It shows a lack of funding in the NHS. It shows how money that is being spent in the hospital isn't being spent in the right places, because we know £8 million a month is going into spin doctors, not real doctors, and we know that they're busy hiring private detectives to spy on patients and their families, rather than hiring a nurse perhaps, in order to alleviate the waiting time and indeed the suffering of people. The SNP seem to have their priorities in all the wrong places. But anyway, we'll take a look at this, see what's going on, and see why you mustn't, whatever happens, go to hospital. Here goes. So turmoil is the new normal for Scotland's NHS, as A&E waiting times sparks fears for the winter ahead. Of course, yeah, we're only in the middle of October. You wait till you start getting the darker evenings, the snow, the ice, especially the ice. When the old doddery people, of which I am becoming rapidly one, they start slipping over, and of course breaks and things like that with old people take a lot longer to heal. The damage is a lot worse, and so of course, yes, waiting times then always increase. You get a lot more car accidents and things like that. And if it's bad now, how much worse is it going to be in 2 months' time? Anyway, performance against the 4-hour waiting time target has been below 80% since August 21, and both doctors and MSPs, including a handful of honest Nats, well, there probably is only a handful of them, isn't there, fear the health service will be plunged into crisis in the winter months. I believe it's already in crisis. I just think it's going to be absolutely chaotic. It's going to be awful. You know, that's what I say, don't do anything that's likely to hurt yourself, or try to avoid people in case you catch something from them. You know, don't get ill is the secret here. 1/3 of A&E patients waited more than 4 hours before being seen, latest figures show. The news prompted immediate demands for the Scottish Government to do something to tackle the continuing crisis within the country's NHS. Well, there's lots of things they could do, they just won't do them. They've got no intention of ever stopping their push for independence, for example. And so money that could be diverted into the NHS will not be diverted into the NHS, not while there's a glossy brochure to be printed. Last night, the Scottish Conservatives said it was clear that such delays can lead to avoidable deaths. And figures for the week ending Sunday, October the 1st, reveal that 1,142 patients, 4.4%, spent more than 12 hours. That's nearly 1 in 20, spent more than 12 hours in A&E. While 11%, 2,870 patients, waited more than 8 hours before being seen. That's terrible. Some of these people will have been waiting there in extreme pain with possibly life-threatening conditions, and they're waiting 8 or 12 hours just to be triaged. Unbelievable, isn't it? The Scottish Government's own target time is that 95% of people should be dealt with within 4 hours, but the latest monthly data for August this year showed just 71.3% of patients were dealt with inside that period. Less than 3/4. That is terrible. Performance against the 4-hour target has been below 80% since the summer of 2021, based on monthly data from all A&E sites. They can't hit their targets. They cannot. And the fact that it's consistently not hitting targets shown there's not enough money going into the NHS. They can't hire the doctors. They can't hire the nurses. If they're not triaging at that rate, then you need more people. You need more resources. It's as simple as that. You can't ask them to do what is physically impossible. People, you know, to be seen, to be checked over and whatever, it takes time and it takes people. If you want it to hit targets, you've got to pay. You've got to put more nurses in. And let's put more nurses in. And let's not waste money on foreign embassies that you don't need. What do we think there, people? Is that a good idea? Let me know in the comments if you think letting all those embassies all across the world that are unneeded and are just there as I don't know, ego trip, really, isn't it? Get rid of them and use the money saved, and let's hire 2 nurses for every hospital to work exclusively in A&E. Do you think that'd help? Anyway, in response, the Scottish Conservative Shadow Health Secretary, Dr. Sandesh Gillane, and now he works both as an MSP, but he also works in the hospital, so he's at the pointy end of this. He said it is utterly unacceptable that the norm is now for a third of patients to be left waiting over 4 hours in Scotland's A&E departments. Says these shocking delays are a direct result of dire workforce planning by successive SNP health secretaries and the failure of Humza Yousaf's flimsy NHS recovery plan. He hasn't got a plan, has he? He really hasn't. He says he has. Oh, I've got plans for this. I've got plans for that. You never see his plans and nothing ever happens because we know what he is. He's a moron. And as for Michael Matheson, the current health secretary, you only ever hear him coming out saying, oh, well, we intend to do this, we intend to do that. Nothing ever gets done. The man is incapable of doing it. And I'm not going to actually blame him. He's trying probably to do something, but he's not able to do anything with the budget. He needs a bigger budget, and it's as simple as that. More money. If you need, I don't know how many hospitals there are in Scotland. Let's say there's 100 hospitals. For the sake of a number, there's 100 hospitals. Let's have, say, 3 nurses and a doctor extra. So what you're talking, £100,000 a year, £150,000 a year. It's 10 million, isn't it? It's 10 million pounds to put them into all those hospitals. 10 million pounds. You're spending 8 million a month on spin doctors. It's not hard to see the maths. And those in every hospital, an extra doctor and an extra 3 nurses, just for A&E, would bring those A&E waiting times right down. Without doubt. Why can't they do it? Why can't they take a little bit of money? Because when you're talking in the terms they are talking, 10 million is nothing. Like I say, they're spending 8 million a month on spin doctors. Hire a real one. Anyway, he said, this is Dr. Gillane. He said, the fear of my colleagues on the front line, and it is shared by the SNP convener of the Health Committee, Claire Hockey, is that ministers have not learned the lessons from last winter, and our health service is not equipped for increased demands it will inevitably face. Michael Matheson must urgently tackle the crisis before it escalates, and he should match the Scottish Conservatives' ambitious plans for modern, efficient and local health service if we're finally to get on top of these wait times. So a little bit of politicking there, but anyway. His concerns were echoed by his counterpart in Scottish Labour. Of course they were, and it's basically them politicking as well. But yeah, there's basically not enough money. They've got their priorities in all the wrong places. Nothing is going to be done. And of course, come winter, it's going to be chaos. And I suspect people will absolutely die sitting in a hospital. And I don't mean dying on a ward. I mean dying waiting before they're even seen. It's that bad. And the pain, the level of pain amongst these people. And I've broken my arm before. I've had a very bad break. I've still got the pin in it. And I sat for hours. And eventually a doctor came up, realised what had gone, and said, get this man in now. Because he saw the pain I was in. And I was sort of bumped up. But, that was only because there was a passing doctor. I was lucky. But it's like anything. You've got to pay. You pay for the service. And let's stop wasting money on crap. Anyway, I shall stop there and come up. The more I think about it, the more I realise I should be running Scotland. I certainly wouldn't be wasting money on spin doctors, on private detectives, on foreign embassies, and all the other crap they're doing. And I would be putting more money into social care and health. Because ultimately, everything else kind of looks after itself. In a vibrant community. Health and social care is the foundation, is the basis of everything. If people are healthy, then they can go and do things, and that's where the priority's got to lay. Stop looking at everything through the lens of independence. Stop wasting money on things that are pro-independence. Honestly, foreign embassies, really? And stop hiring spin doctors and hire real doctors. Let's end the suffering and the pain. And not just in the NHS itself, but out there in social care as well. That's just as important. Anyway, I'll get off my high horse on this one. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you take a message away here, which is try to avoid hospital if you can, because it is just going to be awful, especially with winter coming. And until next time, stay safe, stay well. Do hit the subscribe button, because I've just seen a story coming up. Oh boy, the next video. You ain't going to believe. Oh my God. Right, you're not going to believe the next video. Literally just come up as I'm doing this. It's going to blow your mind. Okay, anyway, thank you. Until that video, come and see me. Right, I'm going to probably put this up straight away. Bye.